The media has been doing a great job, not at covering the Charlie Kirk case. No, they have been doing a horrible job at that, but they have been doing a great job at covering up for Lance Twiggs, Tyler's trans boyfriend. I mean, seriously. Where is the media interest in this guy? You got a furry freak that was dating an assassin. That makes for one hell of a headline. But the media isn't really interested in finding out more about Lance Twiggs. Isn't that odd? The media likes to be nosy and find out about any and everyone in most of these true crime cases. But in this case, no one wants to interview Lance. Guys, I know a lot of you here do not follow true crime. You're more into politics and stuff like that, if you're following the Charlie Kirk case. But for those of you who follow true crime, and I know there's a lot of you, most of my subscribers, you guys know how these things go. The media will literally camp outside of someone's house for weeks on end. Okay? I am used to covering cases where the media is outside of the suspect's home for weeks, regardless if they're locked up, caught or not. We see it in every case, except for this one. The media is nowhere to be found. The media is not waiting outside to talk to Lance because the media is running cover for Lance. Now, luckily, you probably didn't hear about this because the media ain't talking about it much. Some of Lance's family members have already spoken out. And a few days ago, I put out a video over on my second channel about this. Some of Lance's own family members claim that they believe he is dangerous. They said that they're scared of him. They won't even take their kids around Lance. Meanwhile, the media is acting like, oh my God, the conversation between Tyler and Lance, it was just so touching, right? The media is really doing their best to try to paint Lance in this positive light, when in reality, that could not be further from the truth. When your own family members feel the need to speak out and say that, hey, you're deranged and they're uncomfortable around you and stuff like that, yeah, that's when you know it's a problem. It's one thing if you got enemies out there that spread rumors about you or maybe don't like you, but you got family. Family that was scared to go to family functions. They're scared to come to holidays and bring their kids around Lance because they thought that he was crazy, deranged, aggressive, and you name it. But the media didn't follow up on any of that. The media remained silent because, like I said, the media's number one priority in the Charlie Kirk case is to protect the trans lover. That's the angle the media has taken. And that's the angle they're going to continue to take. But like I said, if you've followed any other true crime case in the past, you know that the media usually wants information and they'll do anything to get it. We just watched the Emmanuel Hero case. We watched all of the chaos happen outside of their home. Meanwhile, in this case, it's crickets. But, luckily enough, we're now hearing from another one of Lance's family members. And they say that Lance was very problematic to the point that they had to kick Lance out of their home because he started going down a really creepy, freaky path. Started being aggressive, got addicted to drugs, got addicted to video games and furry porn and all types of other crazy stuff. I have an article right here that I'm about to read for you all. But before I dive into that article, if you're here, if you like the videos, you see that little thumbs up button? You might not think it means much. You may think it's just there for decoration, but it's not. When you hit that thumbs up button, it helps my channel and it helps this video out more than you could possibly imagine. Also, I just went on a whole rant about how the media is covering up this information. So it's important for you guys to share these videos on social media so we can spread the word so other people can see this. And We practice the freedom of speech here. You can let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. And if you really support the channel and want to take your support one step further, you know how to donate. You can donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. It's never mandatory. Most people watch these videos for free. But it's always greatly appreciated when people show their support and donate. Now, with that being said, let's find out a little bit more about Lance finally, since there's no news reporters trying to interview this guy or anything. Charlie Kirk, alleged assassin's roommate, was problematic before family kicked him out, relative says. The trans roommate of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin was previously kicked out of his parents' house over issues surrounding substance abuse, gender identity, and a persistent video game addiction. Lance Twiggs, who has not been charged with a crime, moved into a townhome in St. George, Utah, after living with his grandparents when his father kicked him out, the relative said. The 22-year-old is also in the process of transitioning from male to female, the relative confirmed. He was kicked out of the parents' home at the age of 18. He shared an apartment in southwestern Utah with 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, who is accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. His father thought he was not being respectful and that he was being problematic, so they kicked him out, the relative said. He then lived with his grandparents until he was 18 and graduated from high school. The woman wants to remain anonymous, but she added that the roommate was struggling with substance abuse issues, addicted to video games, and grappling with his gender identity. She's referring to Lance here. But the real reason he was acting out was because he was using drugs and alcohol and was addicted to gaming, she said. The relative also revealed her family member had always tried to put on the act that he had changed. He moved into a townhome and paid full rent, and there were other college roommates at the time. According to Lance's relative, he initially moved into the townhome before Tyler, who moved in the house last year. The two were in a romantic relationship, the relative said. He was maintaining a job and able to pay rent and was technically an adult. The other college roommates eventually all moved out and he stayed. And then Tyler became his roommate. So for some reason, the media does not want to touch this info with a 10-foot pole. Meanwhile, this is the second family member that we have heard from. And none of them have anything good to say about Lance. In fact, what you heard in this video is actually good compared to what the other family member said. And like I said, I posted a video about that over on my second channel. You could go check it out. But the other family member said that Lance was evil, straight up evil. That he held like an intense amount of hatred in his heart, especially for conservatives and for Christians. She said that Lance would wish horrible things on people. And that he got on these medications to transition and he got really bad, really evil, really hateful, to the point that she stopped interacting with Lance, wouldn't bring her family or, the rest of her family around Lance, wouldn't go visit her family because Lance was there. She totally separated herself from the situation, all because of how crazy Lance was. And now we're hearing that he wasn't getting along with his parents, that he was addicted to video games, addicted to substances, and you add those substances in with the hormones and all of the other stuff that he's taking to transition, and you have a cocktail, a recipe for disaster. And it's crazy that we're hearing how hateful and how problematic he is. You know what? We did not hear this about Tyler. We heard that Tyler started going more left-wing over the recent year or so. We heard that Tyler didn't like Charlie Kirk. We've heard some things about Tyler. Tyler is no angel. I'm not trying to make him out to be. But compared to the things we're hearing about Lance, Tyler did not seem that bad. Now, I know Tyler's the one that pulled the trigger. But judging by the things we're hearing about Lance, it just makes it harder and harder to believe that he had no knowledge that this was going to happen. It makes it harder and harder to believe that part of this motive, part of the reason why Tyler killed Charlie Kirk, I would believe most likely had to do with Lance. They killed Charlie because they hated how Charlie would debate against trans issues, right? Then you have this guy kills Charlie, and we're supposed to believe that his trans boyfriend just did not play a role? Is it part of the motive or anything? Like Tyler didn't go kill Charlie for Lance, his trans furry boyfriend? Yeah, right. But unfortunately, as I stated at the beginning of this video, the media does not seem interested in finding out more information about him. They don't seem interested in interviewing him. They seem interested in trying to cover everything up. And that's what I'm working against while covering this story. And you know, this video game addiction thing, I feel like that is an avenue that needs to be explored more. Because when people hear about video game addiction, people often, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, you must be addicted to actually playing the video games. And some people would say, video games never caused me to hurt anyone. And look, blaming things on video games has been around since I was a kid. I remember after Columbine, they blamed the Super Nintendo game Doom. Now, look, I do think that, kids playing violent video games, maybe that has an effect on them. But the real problem, and this is not, people do not realize this. People who don't play video games, they do not realize this. Older folks don't realize this. The problems with video games and video game addiction in today's world, it's not the actual video games themselves. Usually it's not the content of the video game. The problem is the people who these gamers and young gamers, kids, are interacting with while playing the video games. You may think that your kid was radicalized by Roblox. No, it wasn't Roblox. It was the perverts, the 50, 60-year-old freaking chomo perverts that are in the Roblox servers having communications with your child while pretending to be their age. It's not the video game itself. It's the communities, okay, and the chat rooms that are attached to these video games. You think your kid's spending 12 hours a day playing the video game? No, he's spending like an hour a day playing the video game and like 11 hours out of the day watching other people play video games while chatting about Lord knows what, because there's a lot of sick people in these chat rooms, and the left has purposely gone into these chat rooms just like they went into comic books and Disney movies, okay? There's a reason why you got two women kissing in the Buzz Lightyear movie. They go into every form of entertainment, anything you could think of, any form of culture, they infect it, all right? They invade, they infect, they spread like a cancer. A lot of these people don't reproduce themselves, so they reproduce their ideology by spreading it to your kid, and they're doing it in these online gaming platforms, on these chat rooms. And I think that's what happened to Lance. Lance got radicalized in these chat rooms, okay? That's what happened to Lance. But seeing the media just show no interest at all in this, it makes me sick to my stomach, because I cover so many cases, and I see the amount of interest the media puts in other cases as opposed to the interest and the efforts that they're putting into this case when it comes to finding out any new information. It's like they don't want any new information getting out there. But I'm going to do my best to bring you guys whatever I can find. For now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.